To be fair, they're pretty good. It's whatever you're comfortable with.
Okay.
I think I just need to make sure mine isn't hitting earrings. I apparently can't wear small earrings, so that's my problem. Yeah, exactly. 1, 2, 3. That's my action.
Action.
Yeah, that way we can sync it. It's very official, guys. Very official.
I love it.
So this is informal. This is for my insanely fast developing podcast of artist series called Gallery Hangover. So that's what we're calling it. And the idea behind it was, I do, as you guys know, because you're putting on shows as well. I love how close you're sitting. You can totally spread out. This is my favorite thing.
This is how we always sit.
We just really hug.
Yeah.
So, putting together shows is just one hell of a week and leading up to it. And then for me, the next day, I always feel like it's you do feel like hungover. You haven't drank anything. Like you're just done.
Yeah.
And so then I had the bright idea of let's just talk about it the next day. That'd be fantastic. Looking like trash, and then that would work. So we started doing it, and it's been super fun. We got to know everybody. So I just want you guys really quick introduce yourselves, who you are, Last Place Art Club, and then we can just dive right into whatever we think.
Yeah.
We need to talk about.
Cool.
Sweet. Well, I'm Cheyanne Proctor, one of the founders of the Last Place Art Club, and I'm an oil painter, and I'm in this studio, and I don't know, now I don't know what to say. I'm like, wait, you're like, I'll go for it. I know, it's on the spot. So I kind of helped bring the art club to life. But it was Devin's idea overall, pretty much, and it was just good timing for us, and we all kind of made it a thing, and then it's just kind of spiraled into this crazy roller coaster of art shows and drawing nights and many other things. I don't know if you guys want to introduce yourselves.
You're up. I'm Roger.
I'm the rock star.
And I'm a multidisciplinary artist. I do a lot of different things: music, photography, animation, that realm of things.
An aspiring art collector.
Aspiring art. I've yet to start that, but
I can
eventually.
Every show, every show you got it picked out. I know.
You always have one piece on yeah, but that's me. And I guess I more so do a lot of the video.
Yeah, Roger's the head of our media department. And there's only one person in the media department.
There it is.
I try my best.
Yeah,
you guys
he does a great job. He does a great job. Yeah. I'm Devin. I'm a local artist. I do all sorts of things: branding, graphic design, illustration, painting, and then I also help run the art club as a coordinator, where I'll do event management, talking with artists, collecting artwork, helping install, designing a whole bunch of stuff, making a lot of work for everybody. But
a man of many fires.
Yeah. Kind of have a talent for spreading myself too thin, but we do a lot of really, really cool things. And I approached these guys and a couple of our other coordinators. What was it, like 2 years ago now, something like that?
I think it was almost 3 years.
Almost 3 years. Yeah, it's crazy. But I've just been kind of feeling like we needed a community around art, and it felt like something was kind of missing for me personally after I left school, and it had just been on my mind to start like a little art club that would meet up, do draw nights, super casual, and then the art club just kind of grew legs and started running, and we're like kind of accidentally successful in some ways.
Well, I feel like how we got to have you here
Yeah.
is you guys were kind of looking for a home, right?
Yeah.
And so you were looking different places, something for the Sunday, say again, lazy Sundays.
Lazy
So you're
Sunday.
looking for lazy Sundays, and then we just kind of happened to be available.
Space.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
and then you landed.
Yeah, well, that was all due to Gabriel.
Yes.
Gabe introduced us to this place, and that was our first time here when we were just checking it out to do a potential, art night here. And then there was a studio open. It wasn't quite the right fit for us, but the next time we came back, Studio 1 across the hall, or Studio 14 across the hall was open.
Yeah.
And it has the same windows as this studio, and we just fell in love immediately. And
It's hard not to
that's
love
when
it.
we decided,
Yeah.
This was the one we're in now. This was my home for a very long time.
Yeah.
I built the loft. Thank you. Technically not with my own hands, but it was my idea.
Amazing.
Yeah.
It was,
Great.
It's such a Roger loves
Roger,
it.
yeah, that's Roger's shack up there.
It
I love
really,
it too.
man, you can hide out up there. It's so nice.
Yeah.
It's so great. But
It is
you guys, I was talking to Gabe about this. We had our little talk already, and I just said there was something about all of you, individually and then together, and I have felt such like the energy and the presence. Everything has really shifted, and things here. We've been here a very long time. I feel like we're now one of the oldest places in here, and I feel like I almost feel like I'm part of the old guard, the old Ventura guard. You guys weren't even born yet when we had this kind of. There was just a very colloquial. Everything was, seagulls and stuff, and there's nothing necessarily wrong with it, but it never felt like it was getting out of that. And then I came along. That's not how it worked. But Rodrigo and I, we had a vision for this place, and we grew. We grew it, and I think we did well. We brought in new blood, and we have a place that is a little bit different than some of the others. But then we start to age out too, and it's like, and I think I start looking for that energy of that the young artists and the ideas and things I don't think about because I'm too busy, trying to be structured and keep going. And so you guys have just been an absolute, Gabriel, Jem, like absolute breath of fresh air. And I feel like it contributes to what we have. It's independent as well, but I mean, just everything, the energy. And I know you guys weren't here for the last show. You were preparing for your own stuff. I mean, you guys are always have something kicking off, So tell me about what you guys just had, and then we can talk about what you guys are working on next.
Yeah.
You guys, I just finished up with the food fight, but then you had something even prior to
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the youth magazine showcase.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
Well, they reached out to us on Instagram. So Youth Magazine is like a action sports magazine. Also, very young people that are looking to kind of do something different in today's age of social media and like the digital world. They wanted to kind of make a return back to traditional media and magazines and stuff like that. And it all kind of happened just super organically. One of our friends, a great local artist here in Ventura named Reed, he was featured in one of their previous editions. And I commented using the Art Club account, just like, dude, congrats, on his post. And Youth Magazine saw it, and they checked out our profile and liked what we were doing, and so they reached out to do a collaboration. And then I tossed in the idea of doing it at the Topa Topa Colt Street location, which is their headquarters. It's massive, it's super cool.
Yeah.
It's like as Ventura as it gets.
Yeah, we love Topa Topa.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly. So they wanted to do a Ventura-based event, and it just felt like the right time and place. And it's always nice, collaborating with a brewery or something like that, because they handle all the alcohol licensing and all of that stuff. Get to show up, have fun, and sell the artwork. And it just kind of turned into this big thing. And we ended up having Jacob Knoll of Sublime, he's the lead singer for Sublime, come out and play, which was amazing. We had 20 artists. I think we had like 400 to 500 people at the show.
It's amazing.
It was a great night.
You guys, I mean, this is what I'm saying. Like, it really has. Things have changed, and I do feel like kind of the old lady, like sometimes, because it's just we have the brick and mortars, we have the structure, it's the gallery, everything kind of has to fit in a box, and that is a place in the world, right? We exist. This is where businesses like myself, like there is a place for us. But you guys really make me feel like I'm watching something, and I've said this to you before, I'm sure, but in the 70s and 80s, it was sort of a new revival of art, right? You were coming out of mid-century modern, people were really bored, they wanted to do something new. And they were starting these little collectives in the cities, right? And so you had these little underground collectives. I mean, that's how Hearst came out. They're doing shows in barges, and they're finding empty warehouses.
Yeah.
I know that that's not necessarily, you can't really get away with that stuff anymore. But I feel like you guys have the energy.
For sure.
And you're putting, you're using the tools that we have today to be able to put these things on.
Yeah.
They're phenomenal. Like, I'm always so impressed. I really am.
Thank you.
It is something I said you're contributing, and it really, I think it's noticeable, and I think it's palatable.
Yeah. Well, it's funny that you mentioned that, because at the Youth Magazine show, to install the artwork, we ended up renting fences from a construction company.
Love it.
Because we weren't allowed to use their wall space. It was covered in windows. It was also concrete, and everyone was putting holes in the walls. So, we spent so much time, so many schemes, trying to figure out what we had some crazy ideas, and it was like, we were looking at PVC pipe, we were looking at wood, we were looking at, recycling materials and all sorts of stuff. We had to transport it, build it, pay for it, all of that stuff. And then kind of the idea just came to me one night about maybe doing fences. And so I contacted a construction company, and we were able to just use carabiner clips to install all of the artwork. Probably the easiest install that we've ever had. Yeah.
It really was.
Yeah. And
it was so like straightforward, because there was only so much you could do too, that we were like, you just gotta hook it on, and there's like no leveling and mapping out.
Nobody cares.
No, exactly. It was DIY.
Everyone walked in and went, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I didn't think of that.
And we're still sold too. It's like people got to see it and like still like get a feel for what they were looking at, and if they wanted it and stuff too.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. Like, it's not meant to be perfect.
Yeah.
And then you're being industrious, so it it just lends to the whole.
Yeah.
It's so cool. I was just very excited to see everything you guys come up with.
Yeah.
There's I know that, like I said, I feel like you've added here before. How do you guys feel like being here has changed for the Last Place Archive? Like, what's the difference between not having a space and bouncing it around, and then having a space to really call home?
Oh, it makes all the difference in the world.
Amazing.
Yeah. I mean, huge difference for sure. I mean, first of all, like, you know what I mean? Because we were, beforehand, like, I'd be collecting all the artwork in my garage.
Right.
And, everybody would I would have 50 artists driving to my house, like every couple months to drop off artwork in my garage, which was kind of fun. We'd have a little party in the garage, have music going, some soda waters out. I'd have cookies for people to have when they're dropping off artwork. But having a studio here, like, really establishes us. And on top of that, it's like, it also feels like a clubhouse in a way,
It definitely does.
Yeah, it's like, if I feel like I need to get out of the house, it's like, I always have this place to come and see my friends, or, if Gabe or Jem are, in their studios, I can go bother them, and, just get to hang out in a dedicated art space.
I think that's really what we were trying to accomplish, is we wanted a space that people were going to utilize, that were going to thrive in, that it wasn't, it's not just, here's my check at the first of the month, and then, okay, we're gone. Like, we want people are going to be involved, and bring something else to this place. I think you guys have, we see a lot of new people come through here. I attribute that many times to, obviously, the new building, but also, I think our people that we've got in here, really make that difference too. So we see it. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
And
it's really just like inspiring being in here too, and like being around other artists and coming in and seeing like Gabe and Jem working, or just like a new show being put up and stuff. It's like, okay, like, it gives you that little kick of inspiration of like, I also want to do this too, and like, I'm in my studio, what do I need to do? And like, I don't know, it's just like, you feel the momentum of like the community around you so much in here, and like, we're happy that we contribute to that as well, but it's like such a group effort, And I think like having someone like Rod here and you who are like just always open to ideas too, and like so easy to talk to, and like just kind of like get it and get the whole like mix of, you try everything and you got to go for everything.
Well, we
see
appreciate
what happens,
that.
you know?
We appreciate that.
It's
been a long
really
time.
inspiring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I know Rodrigo. We had the little spot up the street. I'm not sure if you guys know, we had a little spot up the street. It was his print place first, and then and then as I like to, I don't know, politically correctly say, we merged our lives together at one point, and we're just fanatical about like trying to build something, and then that's what we ended up doing. And he had found this place. I had run a couple shows, and he had found this place, and I was like, "You're absolutely out of your mind. This is 10,000 square feet. We will never, I don't know what you're thinking, And then we were like, okay, like this is gonna happen, right?
It's
Like this is gonna work.
Yeah.
And so we did it, and here we are now, and then been fortunate enough to have him actually acquire the building and really it's home now. Like we don't really until the market turns or he wants to retire, then I think this is it, which is great. So, and it'll always be home to me. It's my first gallery. It's my flagship gallery out of my little network, and I love it. Like I love it, and I love being able to come here. I feel the same way. I'm inspired, and then even I was talking to you, and I was talking to Gabe earlier, and you guys are doing your mini shows and you're putting them out, and you're really like being industrious and being creative, and I'm like, I gotta step up my game. Young people are in circle. Step it up,
Oh my gosh.
But I think that's how you keep improving. Like that is how you keep going. Is you can't just think that your way is going to be the best way.
Yeah.
I'm so thankful to be able to have so many people to play off of and to get those ideas and I mean, my goals. I want good work. Sweetie, you can go right in front of me. Not bothering us at all.
It sounds so great. I'm enjoying listening to it.
I was gonna say, stop and wait.
Hello.
Artists in progress.
Thank you.
Later.
Bye. We're very pro. I just really I think that we finally, I would say the last couple of years, it's been rough. Markets are rough and not everybody's got a side hustle and then a side hustle because everyone's trying to make it. And that's, I know that I'm a part of that wheel. And so, but there's something about the last couple of years, it doesn't constantly feel like it's just going to go down. It feels like, okay, we're on that top spin right now. Like we're going to keep going and doing good. So it's something that, and even this year and this spring, really, like with everything that's kind of happening, it just feels like it's gonna be good for a little while now.
Yeah.
I see a lot of ebbs and flows. Right now, I feel like we're on this nice big wave, so I want to ride it. Yeah.
Well,
That's
a good energy happening. I feel like even just this past week with like you being in here getting ready for the show, and we had our show, and I was doing some other things, and I just got another job in like an art scenario thing, and I was like, oh my gosh, and we're just like talking like all about the future and just about like the art world in general, and it's just like exciting conversation and exciting things to like look forward to, and like just like, and then too to just like be encouraging each other through it and like be like kind of doing it together like alongside each other like as we all are figuring out our own paths in a way. So
it's a very I mean, that is the art community. I feel like we live in our own bubble sometimes, and I'm actually okay with it.
Mm-hmm.
A bubble.
Yeah.
The world is big and scary. I don't want to go out there. I like my
I just
bubble.
know what I like to do.
Yeah,
I do it.
I'm a big fan of my bubble. But yeah, I do a lot of crossover too. I come here, I feel like I get boosted, energized, and then if I'm at home, something will happen and I'm like, I gotta bring that out there. They haven't seen it yet, or I want to try this because this is the new idea. Me traveling to the different galleries allows me to it's fresh eyes every time, and that feels really good. Mm-hmm. And then I get to bring other artists in, or I get to, hey, I saw this person over here, and I'm gonna, I mean, I get tired a lot, but then You know, you can't.
Yeah.
I don't know. You just can't stop.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a contagious energy
It is.
to be around like enthusiastic creatives. To kind of,
Yes.
like, it's a perpetual cycle. I feel.
Well, Devin, you were telling me kind of the same thing. Like, you know, that you guys only want to show artwork. You got to make it either for our show or it's got to be made like around that time. You know, like only new artwork basically.
Yeah.
I said I feel like I have the same approach to gallery. Fine art's a little bit different in the gallery setting because I can't just say it has to be made this month. That's not really how it goes. But I really try to show artwork that is happening as close to now as possible, right? 1 to 2 years. If it's a series or something, there's always the extenuating kind of circumstances. But I think people want to see what's happening right now.
Yeah.
I think people are, you know, if you're a collector, you're collecting something that's yours. But like, you don't necessarily want to go see something that happened 5 years ago.
Right.
It's like,
Absolutely.
I already saw that. Like, I want to see what's happening right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's part of that collective energy too. You know, you guys
Yeah.
are always, I mean, even like the food fight the other night. That was so good.
So bummed I couldn't make
I
it.
never go. I swear, I
Yeah.
never go to stuff like that. And then
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I said I'm going to go. And then I brought some old pals, I guess I call them, but they're my friends. And one was my gallery assistant for years, so he's all into the art. And then we were actually out there chit chatting because it was getting a little like just a little crowded. So we're like, oh, let's step out, we'll eat, chit chat, and then we'll go back in because you guys still have a lot of time. And so Cameron's like, hey. Like they're getting like he's like our timekeeper. He's like we have to go in. I'm like okay. Yeah. He's like watching, but it was a blast. You guys such a good event. So fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys really do a good job.
Yeah, that was a great time. And just to kind of touch back on what you were saying about, you know, the artwork being made for our shows, that's something that I feel passionate about. I think we all feel passionate about, is that one of our requirements and one of the kind of special things about our art shows is that we normally require artists to make new work specifically for the show. And I think it's really easy for artists to kind of get stagnant in their creation. And look, it doesn't have to be a masterpiece, but if we can have that influence to be able to encourage people to continue creating, you know, that's super important because that's really where progress is made. And that's where ideas come from, is just continual creation. So that has been something that I've been really, really proud about, our shows. And, you know, it's a lot of work for artists, of course.
Yeah.
It's like sometimes they're quick deadlines. But at the end of the day, just like to see, you know, so many people making new work, it just kind of unified in this goal of, you know, trying to do the best job that they can. And then at the end of the day, we get to have like a little party and everybody gets to enjoy the artwork and we all get to, you know, give
And I feel like you guys, it's almost, you know, galleries are usually art. It's usually art for collectors. It's usually like, that's kind of the gallery, you know, sort of the point of being a gallerist is we want people to buy it. And I feel like the energy that's coming out of you guys and some of the other smaller, like I see it, you know, around. It's art for artists. And so it's not bad. People are still buying stuff and coming to the shows and engaging. But I feel like it's the artists. You're getting something out of it on a different level besides the sale, right? So it's the energy, it's the camaraderie, it's the relationships, the network. It's that, and that's what I mean. Like that's how it feels. These old school collectives, it feels like they're coming back. You know, people are. I think you guys, myself included, I think we're all a little sick of just being addicted to technology, or that's how we're making connection. Finding these new ways to really connect with people and keep that and keep it going. I mean, it's not, you know, it's not just for one night or one show or something, like, you know, it's keeping it going. I think you guys are a very good example.
Absolutely.
It's encouraging.
And one of the really cool things about the art club is that, you know, people that are in the club, they already have something to talk about. You know, a lot of artists can be kind of like introverted and maybe they don't like socializing or going out that much, or, you know, it's like they got their own things going on. But you come to one of our meetups and let's say maybe you're not the best conversationalist. It's so easy to spark up a conversation because you can talk about art.
Yeah.
And maybe somebody's working on something right in front of you and you can be like, oh, what are you working on over there? Like, what kind of style is this? And stuff like that. So opens a conversation immediately for somebody that has a huge interest in common with yourself. And then on top of that, friendships bloom out of that, and like we've, the unexpected dividends of what we're doing is that we've made 1,000 friends pretty much.
Yeah.
Just like it's been so fun getting to know everybody.
I feel like I think the socialization aspect of it in a situation that isn't just specifically about the sale or specifically about, that is so important. It's so important. And artists need to practice.
For sure.
You guys gotta practice talking to people. It's very hard.
Yeah.
And it's very awkward, and I still get awkward sometimes, and like this is what I do.
Yeah.
But every once in a while somebody throw a curveball at you and you're like, I gotta think about this one. I don't know. It happens, but it's so important to practice that. It really is. We've been thinking about doing Roger and I have been talking about doing something here. We obviously do the events that are aside from the opening shows, but doing something specifically for Midtown because it's becoming, Midtown,
It's on the come.
Downtown's dead.
Yeah.
But that's not fair. I love Ventura. I love all midtowns and downtowns. I am very equal in my love for both.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But Midtown is really happening, and so we were thinking about doing something like we were playing with the idea like a Monday Midtown mixer. And so first Monday of every month, we just kind of like, because this is big coffee town and everyone's like kind of mixing, and I just thought that might be kind of fun. Like,
That's cool.
just
would it be like a daytime or nighttime?
not sure. We're not sure, but it's just something that was feeling good with the, the marketing aspect of it.
Yeah.
But just also something that is not specifically about come to buy and this is high pressure, and it isn't even high pressure here. I am not like that, but when you're putting on an art show, the expectation is people will want to come to see the art show. With the mixer, the idea is, do you live here? Do you work here? Do you have a business here? Come, we want to maybe have coffee or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
Yes, you get to see wonderful art. Maybe it's an opportunity to go into studios if that happens or transpires later in time. So, but it was we've been just trying to branch out and to do something that's a little bit more social is the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically something that is just to socialize, to network, but again, not the networking that like feels forced or
Very
like Ventura's not like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I come here, I pack shoes, I wear flip flops. It's not like that, and I love that there's just so much more traffic here now.
Yeah,
we've been. We were here, we were the only ones for a little while, and then with all the building, and I just feel like there are people that live here and work here and walk back and forth, but it still isn't like they don't know everyone yet, if that makes any sense, like
totally.
they'll have their one or two places they like to go, but it still feels like they're just walking to their car instead of like actually, walking around and like seeing anything you have to offer. So
yeah.
But I would love to.
It is like such a neighborhood feeling here, and like I think that's kind of what makes it a little different than downtown. Is like you have like families that are walking their kids around, and like it's mainly like they just want to know what's going on around the corner from them, and who's around the corner, and where they can go on like their evenings or their nights off and stuff, and. Or even weekends, and so like to provide little things like that, but also just get to know them and be like, hey, like we're doing this here, we're right down the road from you, like you're welcome here too, and like let's all like build this like community together. I think is so important.
That's one thing I love about my small town I live in is insanely community oriented. Like it's a tiny small town, but we all like everybody's helping everybody. Everybody knows everybody. Midtown is starting to feel like its own little town, like its own little space. I feel they don't even walk past like the clay parlor anymore. Right? Like it's just sort of shout out to clay parlor. And so they don't. It's like they just stay right here. Everything's here. You don't need to go anywhere. We got our little markets if you really want to shop there.
Yeah, we got our dive bar.
We got our dive bar, coffee shop, we got our gallery.
We got our Greek food. We got
you genuinely just can walk all the way up and down. And so it is starting to become its own little community. I love it.
Yeah.
It makes me. It just doesn't. I don't know, it just makes me feel like I'm bouncing from one to the other. I love it. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
So
I love it too. It's a really nice feeling.
I know where you guys are at right now, and I know that I can feel the ambition. It comes off as I'm just laid back and cool, but I can feel the ambition. Where do you feel like Last Place Art Club? Where do you see this like growing? You don't have to have plans, but
Yeah.
like
Yeah. That's a great question. Yeah, because we've been talking about like the coordinators getting together to get coffee. We're like, as soon as we can, we got to talk about the future a little bit. Like, what's all of our directions? But yeah.
Sometimes it's just, yeah, I mean, I think there's a couple of different directions it can go. Like, one of our exciting kind of new branches that we're bringing into the art club is the mural division. We got our first big mural job as an art club. So, you know, that would be fun to do around town and do more cool projects like that, kind of more like public art and stuff like that. I mean, there's so many directions that we could go with this, and you know, I think right now we just have so many opportunities coming at us that it's like we're just kind of picking and choosing what looks good, and we haven't really like sat down and thought about it. I think maybe because everything's just happened so fast.
Right.
You know, we're so busy with next event.
Yes.
Like we're finally catching like a little bit of a breather, and we're going to be kind of sitting down and figuring out what the next steps are and like what we want. You know, maybe one day get a warehouse or something like that. You know, where we can find a kind of like full control over a space, and like because we do these kind of like fully immersive shows, or like as immersive as we can make them.
Yeah.
You know, it would be really cool to take that to the next level. But you're gonna have a harder time doing that at a brewery. You know, coming in and like painting more walls and like all the stuff.
It's a one-day thing.
Yeah, that's the hard part. Is a lot of our events.
No, I think that somewhere off market would be excellent for that.
Yeah.
Like you could, because you can. I don't want to say you're going to destroy a space, but you essentially can. You can build this thing up and then completely scrap it, right? And then you can make your mess in the meantime, and you don't have to worry about anybody else's, like, you know.
Yeah.
I will tell you as a gallerist, I do not mess up my walls.
Yeah. No, exactly.
I spend so much time on these walls, like we are insane by our walls, and I don't want to be like that, but like at the same time, you know, it's like this balance. But I think a warehouse for you guys would be so fun.
It'd be sick.
It'd be fun. Like
It'd be
it's. I mean, you can't. You have to be able to make the mess.
Yeah.
You know, and you guys could totally do that.
Yeah.
It'd be so cool. I'm like, I would have to go to all the shows.
Yeah, we've gotten a taste a couple times. You know, we did a circus themed art show, which was crazy, a crazy amount of work, but it was gorgeous. Like we came into a space, shout out to All Kinds Studio, in downtown Ventura, and we literally transformed the place to make it look like it was like a circus room. You know, we had the checkerboard tiles with the murals, we had the drapery on the roof, and all the artwork was circus themed. Cool. We had an open night where everybody came dressed as circus people. And, you know, we had this, like, super cool party with everybody. Then we went out to the bars afterwards with clown makeup on, and it was just...
So wild.
It was a great time. It was crazy. It was a really hard show. You know, it was really hard to put together. We were running against a tight deadline. But, you know, if we could have, you know, control over a space where we don't have to rush it and we can make it a bit more...
fantasy factor.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, this is what I mean. Like, this is what I'm talking about. This is a collective space. This is your time to really explore it and do it and not worry about kind of anything. You know, you have to take a risk and not have to worry about things crashing and burning, because sometimes they will.
Yeah,
I just want to let you know, sometimes they do. It happens, but then you just, this is, you know, that's all part of the experience.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, we learn with every show. Too, you know, it's like the difference between our level of organization and like confidence that we have now between our first show is just night and day. Like I was having nightmares the first time we had a show. I was like,
no way.
Yeah, I was like, nobody's gonna come. Like, are we gonna get up? Like, still missing artwork from like 3 artists. Like, you know, I was losing sleep, and then the show happened, and it exceeded our wildest expectations. I mean, we were completely overwhelmed by the amount of people that showed up. We had no idea. And it was a crazy show. We had 120 pieces of art in that
Yeah,
show.
it's a huge show.
Yeah, for our very first one. We had to
that
install.
was a little over the top.
A little over the top, yeah. That was a crazy idea.
But you have to.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
For
I
sure.
did the same thing. I would have way too much going on, and then it's just me.
Yeah.
Or, you know, at the time I had an assistant when I had this creature. It was about 100 pieces in here.
Oh my god.
In here.
Yeah.
Like, and
Wow.
I'm like, all right, you know, like, let's, whoa. I mean, it was over
Like,
the
I'm
top.
just gonna be up till 4.
And I did, and I do, right?
Yeah.
But you just learn, and then the next time you're like, in order to edit, it's
Yeah.
okay next time.
Yeah.
But everything, you can be, look, I feel like nowadays, I'm still kind of frazzled, because that's just the nature of what I do. Not everything works out, but you can plan, and I mean, you can be on it. And this last show in downtown proved that no matter how much you plan, like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Right? So, yeah, and then I've just now learned, well, downtown LA is downtown LA, so,
Yeah.
oh well.
You
Like,
get
there
it.
is
Yeah.
like, oh, we decided to march today, and I said, okay, great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the opening. Not yesterday, not tomorrow, but definitely today on the day of the opening. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm all about the protests and that's all fine and good, but maybe we just organize our passion to like Sunday morning, and then we don't worry about the businesses that are trying to event on Saturday night. Right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna get out for
Yeah.
that. No, it's just, I have just learned downtown LA is just that thing where there is no planning. Like
Yeah.
they're just
For sure.
you know.
Yeah.
So everything has its trials and problems and all. But I think in all of that, I still think you're just doing a really good job. Like all together.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, even in Ventura, we catch curveballs all the time.
Oh yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
Every single show has
Yes.
a curveball.
Yeah.
And at least we've come to expect it now.
Yeah.
You know, it's like we've had shows so thoroughly planned out, and still there's something last minute that comes up,
Oh my god.
and it's like every time we're like, yeah, this is gonna be the easiest show yet, and every time it's like, nope, surprise, here's something else you didn't expect.
The good news is that generally speaking, from a curatorial standpoint, you're usually the only one that knows anything.
For sure.
Yeah.
If you've done your job right.
Yeah, if you don't know, like you're usually the only one that will know.
Yeah.
That's not how it's supposed to look. That's not where I wanted something. That wasn't even supposed to be there. Whatever the case may be. So generally speaking, like you're your own worst critic. So it's fine.
For sure.
But it's not. You just keep going. There isn't. I do think that what you guys do too, because it is like you said, an immersive experience. Like this, like it's. There's a lot more that just goes into just the hanging on the wall, right?
Oh, for
and I know
sure.
that I'm not talking about the marketing part, but like you do have, there's always kinks that are going to be in there, and you're not going to be able to plan for it because
Right.
of the nature of your specific show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like communicating with like 40 plus artists for one show,
It's crazy.
it's like, you're working with so many different personalities and
It's why I
trying to
don't
be
do jury
professional.
shows anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. And we're artists too, so I'm
Yeah,
like,
Yeah. It is genuinely why I really don't do jury shows.
Yeah.
Because it's just too many people. It's
Yeah.
not that the work's not good, and it's not that the show won't be good. It's just it's literally too many people.
Yeah.
I can't.
What
do
do
it.
you mean by jury shows? Like people submitting work for a show
Yeah, so-
specifically, or getting
So in the gallery
judged?
world, you'll have essentially there's a few different kinds of shows. One would be like a group show, which is generally what I have, and then you have your solo show. You've seen those here as well. And then you'd have a juried show. So essentially, one piece at a time from one artist. So like those used to be my photo shows. I would do these big juried photo shows, and the reason I would have like a guest juror come in and they would judge the show, and it's kind of a little bit more of a competition basically. But generally
Got
speaking, you're only accepting one piece from one artist.
Mhm.
And so that was a show I told you I had like 100 pieces. That was 100 artists I was dealing with
Oh my
because
For a jury.
it was insane. It was insane.
Yeah.
And so, but the jury shows are just, I love them because you get to see so many different things.
Right.
So from a viewer standpoint, you're like, this is amazing.
Mhm.
And then from a gallery standpoint and curatorial standpoint, you're like, I may like just call the end of my life right now.
Yeah.
I think I'm
Oh,
done.
you did.
Yeah.
That's it. I've hit the peak. I've fallen off the cliff. Like there is
Totally.
no more. So it's just how much stress you want to deal with, right?
Right.
The
How
group
much
shows.
pressure.
The other thing too is as a gallery for me, as we've like grown and we continue to evolve, the jury shows, while they are fun and stressful, the group show having artists that are represented on a regular basis, that is really where our collector base is coming in, and that's what they want to see. And that's what I like working with you. I like having that established relationship.
Yeah. The
established relationship with artists to me means everything. I've had artists I've worked with for 10 years. I genuinely love them. Not just their artwork, but like we have a relationship that even if it started out professional, it's still professional, but it becomes a little bit personal because we've established this, longevity and we have a good rapport. So for me, that relationship is so important, and I think that is something that will carry my business and my style into the next, one day I'll be 80 and the glasses will be thicker. And, you guys want to come to our show? So that'll be how it goes, and that's okay too, right? Everyone has to go through their iterations. So, but yeah, for me, it's just that the jury shows are there. I still do online jury shows because then I don't have to worry about any shipping.
That's great.
I just select, and then they're there, and then we put out a book, and then we're set, right?
Yeah.
So it's and then artists like it. It's generally not as expensive because you're not shipping anything. We still list it for sale, so if it sells, we can worry about the logistics. But it's more of a commemorative and kind of like. And then they're not necessarily themed, but I lend those mostly to photography because there's so much. I mean, photographers, man, you guys got all kinds of photos, right?
Yeah.
So like they just have more work available, and it's more to see, and then you can kind of create a. I like to call them concepts, not themes. You can kind of create a concept, and then you can have a multitude of different applications for that concept. Mm-hmm. So those, and I love the concept. But but being into this, I don't miss that. I don't miss the communicating with 100 people.
We've only done one jury show, but it was like publicly juried, so it was chosen by people in attendance, and that was our first time doing that, and it was probably our most difficult over acrylic. I mean, it was publicly juried, so it was oil painters versus acrylic painters, 20 artists on each team, and the public. It was kind of the first time that the public really got to interact with the structure of the show in a way. They were an integral part of what the show was about. We needed to decide a winner. And the public got to do that, and it added this other element that was really fun, but it was so much work. It really was. Yeah. But it was funny though. I just found it a bit ironic that that show just adding that little bit of competition into it. The quality of the work was probably the best that we've had in a show.
Was it a live painting show, or is this
No.
showing up so you had the oils versus the
Yeah.
Okay,
so everybody got 18 by 24 inch canvas.
Yeah.
And they had to make their, new painting for the show. And there were some phenomenal pieces in that show. And it's funny because you don't necessarily think of artists as being competitive, but
you're mistaken. You don't even know that you guys are competitive. You don't even know it.
Well, we found out once we started doing the show.
It is I feel like every artist is competitive.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, artists are also very welcoming and trying to sharing stuff.
There's just
but then you got a little seed down there. You got a little deep down.
It's a bit more internal competitive.
I just want you to know I'm competing right now because I'm thinking, God, that's a great idea. I should really once again step up the game.
Yeah.
I mean, but to me, that's not a thing that feels, like I said, that's a great concept.
Yeah.
You're not necessarily telling people what to do. You're creating this scenario for them to be, do what they do best, right?
Yeah.
And that, I mean,
I love all of our shows are kind of a new kind of way to approach that. It's here's the idea, explore however you want. And we tried it with a bunch of different things. Even for our fashion show, we did first time we ever did a fashion show right across the street at Pompey's.
Yeah.
It was make whatever you want as long as.
Interesting.
And people kind of took that and whatever.
Well, we'll paint on anything. Artists will paint on anything.
Yeah.
I don't.
It was a fun excuse to paint on pants for sure. It's like, I think about this all the time.
I feel like so. I think that is why maybe I do love your guys' concept so much because like here's the idea, paint around that, right? But it has to be new. I've never been the type to say we're gonna do a theme show. Everything has to be small. Everything has to be blue. Everything has to be dark, or whatever whatever these themes are. That feels very like old guard to me. I've never gotten behind it, but I am fascinated by what people make in the moment and how that relates to whatever the social climate is.
Yeah.
And I'm not really specifically talking about politics, but just social climate in general. It could be regional, it could be, it could be international, but whenever things are going on, it always feels like it trickles down into the art, right? So you paint in your bubble, and however big that bubble is what you're going to be reflecting.
Right.
And so I always try to let the art happen however that's happening. Now the artists I work with, hey, what do you guys work with? What series is happening? Where are you at? I do want to inquire about that. But it's very interesting to me how artists from all over the world, the United States, or even just this part of Southern California, the art that's happening is all related in a way. And so as long as it's new and they're working and it's happening in the moment, I can create a show around that. And that's kind of what I do, So it feels like all of these artworks here, they're tied in, even though they're officially tied in.
Yeah.
And so then I just try to put that concept together. And there's a couple outliers, that's okay, it happens. But for the most part, it feels like it all belongs together, right?
Right.
And I feel backwards now, though. I feel like, oh man, I should just tell them what to paint.
Well, we try to give our artists as much runway as possible.
Sure.
Like we'll have a loose theme. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like oil versus acrylic. The only theme was you had to paint in one of the mediums.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think that also is because that's not what our income is based off of. We're not at that point yet where we have a gallery space where the work that sells, we get a portion of that yet. So it's we kind of can save for now, let the artist make whatever they want and you sell it however you can and we'll try to help you, but we're at that learning period right now where it's just we're trying to see what works with selling work too, so it's all just practice for us.
I think you guys don't even have to worry about that right now. I think that just that creative energy that you have and all the things you get to experiment with, that's gonna lend to you much later. There are artists that never sell, and they're incredible artists, right? So it's not, your success isn't necessarily measured on sales.
Right.
From a gallery's perspective, we're trying to match the buyer to the artist, the collector to the artwork.
Yeah.
So that's just a whole different business. But it doesn't, and that's what I tell people with the gallery, sometimes some of your pieces are going to sell, and sometimes some of them aren't.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily a reflection on you. It's not a reflection on your skill or ability. It's just a reflection of you haven't found your buyer yet.
Yeah.
And that's okay. It's not a big deal. It's not going to go away.
Yeah.
It'll be fine, And yes, obviously income is based on sales. That's part of the business. But I feel as though I'm lucky just to have been doing this a long time. So I try not to panic. I think I told you the other day, I'm not going to panic today, I'll panic tomorrow. I was trying to save the panic for the next day.
Yeah.
Because you never know, you just have to have faith in how it's all going to transpire.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, obviously there's a hustle to it and we do our best, but, I don't think you guys have to worry about selling anything right now. I feel like all of this is just, this is your path. You know, and this is how it goes, and then you just learn and you do.
Yeah, and it's worked out so far. I think we're lucky to have 5 coordinators all together, kind of helping juggle it all to where it keeps us able to keep going in a way. But I think kind of how you were asking earlier about our future too. It's we have a lot of leeway with what our next steps are, or end goals are, because it's we get to call ourselves an art club that it's we're able to do so many different things under that umbrella, and it's all just kind of seeing what sticks, or what brings the most energy for now, and what contributes to the artist the most as well, and you know what people resonate with the most. So
Yeah.
it's just like a big like learning experience at the moment, and but like luckily like we're so supported with each other that we get to continue doing
It's a
it.
good group. You guys, I
Absolutely.
feel like you guys have just nailed it.
Yeah.
And especially, I mean, all I imagine is you guys are working and Roger with this tiny guitar. And then just
It's
like,
a ukulele,
it's,
actually.
it's a bass ukulele. I was already sure. I was like, that's a tiny guitar. That's all we're doing. And then I even pointed out to my friend Cameron, I was like, he has a tiny guitar. And he said the same thing. He's a musician.
Yeah.
It's like, it's a ukulele. I'm like, I don't know what you call it. That's a little toy guitar right there. I love
Well,
it.
and it's cool too because like I'm sure you know, like, and for every artist, it's like you become like the boss, like the social media marketer, like the curator, everything. Like you do all the jobs in like your own business, basically. And so it's like, you know, we each have our own unique skills, and Devin's so great at like design work and like making flyers, and he could just crank them out. And then Roger, he just like we're like, we should do a video of this. It's like, bet, okay, I'll do it right now. And,
Well, 3 heads is better than 1.
yeah.
Well, what do you guys have coming up immediately? What's in your next? What's the very next thing coming up for you?
Yeah,
Very
the
soon.
next thing is the mural project.
Okay.
So it's kind of like this group project that we curated together of like picking a team of artists that we feel comfortable like tackling such a large mural. But Ryan Yablo was one of the artists who like brought this project to us, and it's a whole like apartment complex, and
where's the apartment?
In Ventura,
Okay.
off of Valentine Road.
Okay.
Yeah, so kind of over by Salzer's. That area.
That'd be
And it's
really
like
cool.
full like decal exterior and like one interior wall, and we just I don't know, when he brought it to us and we were looking at it, and I have been working on murals like as like a second painter for Andrew Rodriguez for a while, so I was like, I know we could do it, you know, but I'm just like, I don't know, let's just try it as a group. We've never done anything.
It's an
like this.
undertaking.
It is,
Yeah.
and it's
I've done
scary.
exactly one mural my whole life.
Really?
I did one mural. Yeah. But again, alone. I think a group and how organized you are. I mean, you guys. I'm sure it will be something that everyone will want to see.
Yeah,
You know,
and luckily,
really,
like, the execution part doesn't seem too daunting, or like that we're not going to finish it. We're all kind of like, I
For
think
sure.
we're going to finish it pretty fast.
Yeah.
Just like the paperwork up front is a lot.
Oh,
you know,
it's all.
It's
Everything's very official nowadays.
Right.
My mural was like, "Hey, that's a wall for you. Would you like to paint on it?" I'm like,
Yeah.
yes, I would.
Yeah.
It'll cost exactly $1. You know, there's no. Now you have a little. Everyone's got to have permits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's organized through with the city of Ventura as well. So, you know, there's a lot of red tape that we had to cross, and, you know, a lot of back and forth about the design that we were pushing forward. And, you know, everything turned out really, really cool. We're all very excited about this project. It's, like I said, it's kind of the first big project for the mural division.
Well, after the mural division, the mural department. It's our very first project. We're all very excited about it.
Yeah.
I have a question just to follow up really quick. When do you think, what's the expected finish date for the whole thing? Like,
They want it finished by June 30th.
okay.
We are hoping to finish it by like May.
Late May, yeah.
Okay, so here's what I would like to do, since we just talked about it. Well, let's do another one of these when it's done.
Yeah.
Okay,
I want to save it.
Oh my gosh.
I want to save it for that. That'll be the follow up, and then it'll be like, and all of you guys, all the hair loss,
Yeah.
and the sunburns.
Oh, and we
and
have,
I'm
like,
just kidding.
big
It's
plans
gonna go.
for it,
It's gonna go great. It's gonna go great.
Yeah, we're
Document every week.
Yeah.
Do artist highlights.
Oh yeah.
I'm literally making like custom like button-up white T-shirts, like painter shirts that say the mural division on the back. Like it's gonna be a legit crew.
Okay, don't wash the t-shirts and just they have to have all the paint from.
It's Get as grimy
There
as
you go.
possible.
Yes, that, and then you save them. Those
Yeah,
are
for
those
sure.
go to the
No, I'm gonna frame them.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get them framed.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's fantastic.
Yeah.